I vote for Game 5s, please.
Yes, yes,
Game
please.
5s
all weekend.
Always. We didn't get a chance to talk about the Envy and TSM matchup, but we will take a moment to talk about that later because we have the Optic versus Spacestation Gaming elimination round number 2, and one of these two will go home.
It's crazy to think about that. Here in elimination bracket round number 2, somebody's going home in top 8, and it could be either Spacestation Gaming, a roster made of entirely world champions, or Optic Gaming, fresh off of a win in Arlington, here in elimination round 2.
Well, Optic wasted no time getting themselves forward and getting their opportunity to get 4 down, and already Lqgend doing Lqgend things. He's always so fast to find those opportunities to pull flags. Eco, the only player alive to even try to potentially stop this from Optic Gaming.
Formal, moving this flag as fast as possible, immediately past the 50% portion of the map, and just like that, we could be looking at the first flag cap, even while One Shot feeling confident enough to push that flag forward here, but now the final player alive still gets it in before being taken down.
Formal played that really well, being last player alive. He thrusted back to his base, got his shields back, but this is a counter opportunity for Space Station. They're quick to take their map control, and they're going to be able to at least have all the lanes blocked for Optic Gaming to have to run through on their spawn. The question is, are they going to be fast enough to stop Lucid on this run? He's the last player alive.
A perfectly played counter cap is what we're looking at, and just like that, a minute and a half worth of gameplay, and we are tied up already.
Yeah, really efficient play by Lucid and the rest of Space Station to get their counter opportunity, but it's just that, it's a counter opportunity. They're using the flow of Optic to create space. You need to be able to generate it on your own occasionally. You can't depend on openings that Optic gives you.
Speed down go Optic Gaming, and SSG want to take advantage of that. SnakeBite quick on the pole and quick to get it to the car side. Lqgend making a sneaky play towards the util. He will be stopped and bound, and Formal are able to cross map and stop that flag out in no man's land. Can they get the return?
It doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but Lqgend did what Lqgend needed to do, right? Slow Space Station down, allow those players to come into frame and get the shots, and now it's tough for Eco and the rest of Space Station to finish it, but maybe too far. Lqgend off that spawn was able to get back into this fight, but now he's really the last piece of resistance. He has to hold off for his teammates once again.
Lqgend forced to retreat back toward the car side of the map here, and StelluR with the denial grenade, making sure he ain't getting back towards util. Softens up the enemy just a bit, but off screen, bound with the 5. Lqgend able to take down StelluR, and now Optic looks to get aggressive.
Renegade played that perfectly, got the timing just out the door as those kills came in. Space Station go 3 down, and now this flag's in prime position for a run. Just one more round of slays for Optic, and they'll have their second flag on board.
Navigating their way through the car side right now is Renegade and the rest of Optic, up close and personal, but that's exactly where Eco wants them. Eco with the kill, util is cleared out, return goes down.
Optic giving SSG a lot of respect there. They could have tried to force that run with the numbers that they had and the timing that was available, but decided that they needed to slay once again, because if you mess up, right, if you try to force something against teams at this caliber, oftentimes the punishment leads to a flag capture.
Whoa! That's a huge piff coming out of Lucid, and you know he's not done just yet. Aggressive towards the P side, somehow is still alive, and that was a 3 down for Optic Gaming.
And now Space Station's gonna start flooding in on both sides. Eco, first one in on the right perimeter, and he wasted no time. Pull that flag. They're gonna try to get this flag well on its way before even getting a kill.
They're able to curb slide that flag over towards util, but like you said, they need those kills, and 2 of them will fall towards the P side, but SnakeBite having to give all of their members in order to do it.
With that 4 down, you have to think Space Station just too ahead of themselves, really depending on their slays as that flag's being pulled, instead of potentially working for the first slay to pull the flag. It can work, but the timing has to be perfect, so it just wasn't that time.
With this camouflage can be so important, and he goes right at his former teammate in Lucid, turns it immediately into a double kill, starts the flag off, trusts his teammates to relay that forward as he works on the P side spawners. Flag is still moving by Lqgend.
Oh, Formal, just the timing window wasn't there for the punch, but job's done, right? Optic were fighting in the base of Space Station as Lqgend was wrapping it back home to get the capture. Optic will take the lead, and even then, because of how far they were up on the map, they're able to get back to mid-map control relatively easily.
Bill Belichick always said it, do your job, and you said it, the job was done. It's a 2-1 lead by Optic, and Lqgend making legendary plays until StelluR shuts him down.
There's only 2 players alive for Space Station that will try to do their best to continue forward into Optic Gaming's base, but lives are important here. Not being taken down early is what's most valuable, and StelluR will have a crucial one-on-one fight in the back base.
Decent damage, but it is Lqgend that ends up taking down StelluR, and that was back-to-back death for Space Station Gaming. Formal getting caught out over towards the P side. Excellent shots by Eco.
Really, that Lqgend kill on StelluR is what unlocks their ability to play offensive Halo. Before, they would have to worry about the base and what StelluR is doing back there. Now, it's just about fiving, pivoting your way forward, getting your chance at another flagpole. Optic Gaming knocking on SSG's door.
So a 2-1 game here. Optic still have the advantage, but with a little less than 6 minutes on the clock, anything can happen here. Formal, once again, the long-range shots has some of the best centering in the game, and now one of the best flanks onto Space Station. Max damage, but is the damage enough to allow Lqgend to push this flag forward?
Lqgend trying to snake this one in, but 2 players from Space Station fast on the cover. But with 2 going down, Optic just have a numbers advantage. They're not going to try to force a flagpole, but rather try to keep their map control, looking for another clean opportunity for a pull.
Win coming out of Lqgend. Now repositions immediately, has his teammates all around him, and that's 3 down for Space Station Gaming, about to be the 4th.
And with that, they pull as that 4th player goes down. The timing is going to be atrocious for Space Station, and I don't think I've seen Lqgend lose a gunfight yet. He's right on the front line. SnakeBite, oh my! What a kill, but was it enough?
Space Station able to make their way off of spawn and towards P-side, but too little, too late. Optic punched in their 3rd flag cap, and once again, SSG are behind the 8 ball.
SSG need to generate their own space. The slays need to come from them first. So often they're looking for mistakes from Optic Gaming, trying to fill in empty voids. Sometimes you just got to go up to a man and pivot him. Right now, that's what SSG needs, is just some more slaying power. In particular, they need to start finding kills onto Lqgend. I feel like he's been able to cause so much chaos to Space Station's cause.
Pretty hard to slay the enemy team when you're 3 down, and that was a fresh 3 down for SSG. But Lucid and the rest of Space Station Gaming coming off a spawn, making their presence known. They flipped the map right on Optic.
Yeah, no hesitation as well, getting themselves into Optic space. They're going to clearly try an opportunity here, but able to get around that corner. That's massive. Does he stay alive? No, Formal. That's great target priority by Formal. He goes in there. There's so many different options for him to take. He prioritizes exactly what's needed to at least slow this flag down.
Made by Renegade, somehow not gonna connect, but Renegade doesn't need it. All he needs is that bandit. Takes down multiple members here. Will this flag stay alive? Eco with the nades going down, trying to do everything he can. Flag about to return. There it is.
Yeah, nothing that Lucid could do. Just had to watch that get returned, and now time is really gonna be playing a factor. We're less than 3:30 left in this game. There's not a lot of time to get these 2 flag captures. SSG, the pacing might need to increase.
Well, they're going to certainly try their best here. Down by 2, backs against the wall, but this is where you find out what you're truly made of. Lucid has already made his way towards the opponent's util side. Doubles back over towards card 3 just to continue to apply pressure on the mid-map. The rest of SSG should be able to push up through this, and you found yourself a one-shot Formal. You also found yourself a flagpole.
The assist battle between Optic and SSG has been the big difference maker. If SSG can be connected, that's when things will change. 3 go down for Optic Gaming. Finally, the team shot at SSG starting to connect.
Green Gun just barely misses out. Bound, pushing up after 1 kill, turns it into 2, and that's what the best in the world do, but SnakeBite does it even better as far as capping a 2nd flag within 1.
Yeah, Space Station they knew that they probably weren't going to win those gunfights, but as long as you buy space for SnakeBite, he'll be able to make it come home.
Not done just yet, but a trade that I think SnakeBite wanted a clean kill on. Meanwhile, Eco Wants to try to clean up on some kills that StelluR and SnakeBite were able to put down as far as damage. So far, dying left and right, one at a time. It's staggered pushes out of SSG again.
And with that, just 2 minutes on the clock for the next opportunity. Spacestation looking for their chances, but I love the positioning from Formal. Just stay over at P2, get that info, and hit some gnarly shots from across the map. That man rarely misses as he pushes forward. And all right, I mean, look how fast Optic was to take control of the base.
Momentarily going to give up that high ground, but mind you, Lqgend is able to get away with camouflage, which could be huge. Lucid spots him out, but he can't get the kill. Luckily, SnakeBite is there to cover his back.
A lot easier to see camo than it is necessarily to hit camo. Lucid, unfortunately, that BR not quite able to get those shots to land, and now the clock just keeps ticking away. Almost a minute left for this team to work with. Spacestation, you're running out of time.
Minute 11 seconds on the clock right now. We switch gears over towards StelluR chasing down a one-shot. Renegade runs into a bit of a team grenade, and Bound wants to take advantage of that. Eventually goes down. That's a death you didn't want, not at this stage of the game.
And Lucid trying to hit that right stick straight, will not be able to get that kill. And now Optic Gaming, they're able to keep finding Spacestation at the half line, and someone got to deal with this, man. Lqgend has completely taken over this game. It feels like he has the freedom to do whatever the hell he wants.
They already were running out of time, and a huge double kill by Lqgend sends him across the map. It is going to be a tough cross coming in to try to infiltrate the base of Optic Gaming. 24 seconds is all SSG have.
Able to find these shots downrange. Formal just needs the information about where the push is coming from. If Optic Gaming can find their counter in time, that flag should be stopped, but SSG, they're getting the kills. They're getting the kills. It's 3 down. That flag, it's more than halfway.
But mind you, Formal was able to get the kill here, but not able to stay alive. Did he buy enough time for the rest of his team to somehow put down damage? Lucid turns the corner. Can he punch it in? It's the curb slide and a tied-up game, ladies and gentlemen. We have an overtime.
And that's where Spacestation, when you look at what is built into this roster, it's experience, it's championships. 4 players that all have done it at the highest level, being able to clutch up in a tight moment.
One cap is all it's gonna take for either one of these rosters here, and the starting strat and camouflage could make or break either one of these teams. And right now, SSG off the opening break, taking over, but did Renegade just steal a camo?
Got away, but can he stay alive? That's the next part of the equation. Yes, StelluR goes down, but SnakeBite with the quick trade. It's going to be chaos in the middle of the map for now, but this is chaos that Optic should thrive in. Lqgend able to turn the corner, get more damage, and I just don't see this flag continuing on unless Kevin Eco Smith. Are you kidding me?
He's down to one shot, though. After that, he cleaned up real quick here. Optic Gaming ain't done just yet as Formal looks to approach the base of Spacestation Gaming.
This approach, he's trying to coordinate with his teammate on the right side. SSG aware that it's happening, but I don't know if he's just being aware is not going to be enough. The slays are starting to come through. Eco on the other side has pulled a flag alongside StelluR, so we have dueling flags out. Are they just going to meet at the mid-line, pit versus pit?
They gave up the fridge side spawns to make sure they run the flag the same way that Spacestation Gaming, where they want to run it right up in the face of SSG, get that return on the way of running the flag, and it looks like they may just get that. We're past the 50% portion here. SnakeBite's over towards the back base, though, and he's looking to create chaos.
Two players here for Spacestation that are just trying to hold off the army of Optic Gaming, but I think they might have just done it. Lucid, he's on that return. No one from Optic there to stop him, and now SSG, they're the ones in control.
A clutch stop coming out of both SnakeBite and Lucid, but now can you turn it into a counter opportunity? Flag may be out, but the return comes in so quick, but that's a 3 down for Optic, and Lucid starts the flag.
At perfect timing, Lqgend able to move that flag forward. He's able to try to get stopped to move that flag forward, and it's just StelluR. It's just StelluR that can try to keep that alive, but I don't know how far he can get. Camo now is going to move into the hands of Optic Gaming, and what looked like a prime opportunity for Spacestation might have just turned into Optic Gaming's true chance.
And now if Optic able to get the return, this turns into more. Formal still has this camouflage right now, and they have no idea where he is. They're all spawning towards the back base, and the moment they come off a spawn, here's Formal. One double kill, and the rest of the players are sent back to spawn. 4 down. Optic take game 1.
He took him out execution style in the back. They had no option, nowhere, no space, no chance to stop Optic's flag.
Well, Optic Gaming taking that first CTF flag game against Spacestation Gaming. That was an incredible match through and through, especially all the way to the end. Favorite moments that we got to talk about.
Oh, I mean, I got many favorite moments. Of course, it's a little frustrating because, again, so many shining moments here for Spacestation, but not frustrating on the side of Optic. They closed it out. They clutched it up once again, which is exactly what they needed to do. I am just happy, though, because I think that we're going to have a bit of a series here. Spacestation once again rising to the occasion of Optic. This is a very different SSG that I think we've seen all tournament long, and I think a lot of people are happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some light from this team. There were some very special moments and opportunities for Spacestation to be able to close this out and take it away from Optic Gaming, but what did Optic Gaming do to put a stop to that at the very end?
Lqgend. I mean, Lqgend was in the perfect spot, right? When they needed him most, he showed up and won the fight that stopped the flag and bought the time necessary for Optic to completely change the equation in that game. Think about what could have been for Spacestation on that pull. They gave up a lot to gain that flag and to start moving it. They gave up complete top control. Once Lqgend gets that kill, they're able to move that flag, they're able to get that return, but also get the camo that follows up into the play necessary.
Envy, but we gotta stay on track here with Optic Gaming versus Spacestation Gaming. Can Spacestation come out on top?
Optic Gaming and Spacestation Gaming in the lower bracket. We ain't going anywhere right now. This is game number 2. It's a Slayer, and right now you're watching the best in the world go at it. And one of them are gonna leave today top 8. Forget about Championship Sunday. Top 8.
With 3 going down, Lucid had perfect vision to help them get away with camo. They have everything. Optic Gaming, how do they deal with a stalker and a camo coming at you? Oh, Lucid!
My gosh. Is it Lucky Lucid? Is it MVP Lucid? What are you calling there?
Perfect bait and switching as well from StelluR and Lucid with the camo shock, with the camo stalker combination. They just completely maximize the value you're getting from these power weapons and power ups.
10-5 lead here for Spacestation Gaming, and they're not done. StelluR continues to push forward on the weakened members of Optic. Meanwhile, Eco and the rest of SSG forced himself over toward the strong side. Renegade flies in, but runs into a double push from Spacestation. Can Formal get at least one of these cleanups? Because there's multiple members of SSG here.
Formal very patient, letting that player come to him. He's never going to try to close that space and give the trade when he can just outgun you for the kill, right? His aim, supreme. His confidence, unmatched. There is no one you want to be facing in an elimination match than Formal. I mean, that guy is built to win championships.
Eco does a great job putting down that damage, but where did Lqgend come from across the map to take him down and somehow able to stay alive here? Spacestation holding on to a 6-kill advantage, but Lqgend and the rest of Optic may pull off a run.
Lqgend able to get himself back towards his PD spawn, but I like the fake out. Get back towards your teammates. You know that the pressure is going to be trying to swing in on the other side. Eco's looking for a Lqgend that just doesn't exist anymore, right? Like, he's completely faked him out.
5-kill advantage here for Spacestation. You're seeing Eco take height immediately, and StelluR gonna try to play forward here. A beautiful kill coming out of Eco, but he's not done. Tags up bound just a little bit. A reposition, understanding that Lqgend's trying to take an off angle. He chases that away.
Think about the path that Lqgend's taken on this gunfight. He finally goes down, but he started that all the way at PD. He dies at purple. Long routes being ran here by Optic Gaming, trying to find creative angles to take down Spacestation by surprise.
Red gun in the hands of Renegade, doesn't even need it. has the bandit in the front pocket here as we bring us back within 3 kills. Renegade immediately attacking the PG side, playing his lane, but runs into a stick.
Somehow it was a return to set. I don't know how that worked out, but Renegade gets stuck, and unfortunately for Optic, the result's going to be one less dead. Who knows how it worked out in actuality. 3-kill differential, Spacestation, they'll go in a couple down, and Optic Gaming have flipped control of the map. They'll have Spacestation trapped at C, and Lucid that's in the back of B, he desperately needs the help. StelluR's gonna try to provide it, but you can feel the tension mounting on the left side of the map, but Lucid, he got a nade, he gets the kill, and SSG might have just found themselves the space they need.
I was thinking, I'm like, how is SSG holding on to this 3-kill advantage? Well, Lucid, he's 11-6 right now. 3 assists to go along with it, but now it's Formal and Optic looking to clean things up.
Camo coming up in just a couple seconds, and you see the players in Space Station starting to congregate towards that camo. They want to be able to grab it away, and Optic, they full committed into this gunfight, and they full commit to a 4 down. SSG wins that gunfight, and more importantly for them, the camouflage to go with it. Lucid stalls the grab, and he gets another kill. He has Stalker. That's everything. Lucid controls the fate of SSG.
A well-placed trap from SSG leads to a camo and Stalker combination here for Lucid. Spots bound on the cross, but does he know there's 2 members of Optic that are still pushed up over the strong side? You have Lqgend on the background, but Formal's on the front. Lucid puts the Stalker to work though, and both players get wiped off the face of screens.
I love the way he's been patient with that. He's able to find a kill just out of ammo. And he is Lucid getting surrounded by Optic Gaming players. His life cut short, and now Eco the only one alive, and he's dangerously close to Formal right now. They're gonna find their engagement, PD.
34-29 lead, make it 30 here as Optic trying to inch their way forward, but Formal not able to escape with his life. Now we switch over to Bound and the rest of Optic that are trying to chain together a few kills their way.
There's so much pressure from Optic Gaming. They are surrounding the player stuck at B, and SnakeBite has no choice but to slither away. There is no controlling B with that many players of Optic hunting you down.
Renegade gets called out over towards the red room. 3 down, go Optic and SSG. A 5-kill lead, but where the heck did Bound just come from? And that's a double. Oh my gosh, Bound absolutely flanking and destroying SSG.
That might have been game-saving. Bound. There's safety in numbers, right? You'd think the 2 players, he doesn't care, and he full committed into that gunfight. Understood he needed those 2 kills. Got it for his team, and Optic Gaming, they're not out of it yet. Renegade has the camouflage. Red Gun also in their possession with Formal. Despite no map control, they have the tools they need to work their way out and come back to this game.
There's some players that see the play, and there's some players that make the play, and that was Bound making a play. Meanwhile, Renegade looking to create one of his own. Camouflage and concealed presence now behind enemy lines himself, but it looks like SnakeBite was anticipating it. Doesn't get the kill here. Bound's covering his back, and now Optic are chasing down the rest of SSG.
That's a full team coordination for both sides. They completely flip out the spawn. Only 1 kill went down in the whole process, but SSG, they found the isolated player, and now Optic Gaming, they find themselves a little bit more cramped than they'd probably like.
And Optic, once again, luring SSG into a false sense of security. They sneak away another kill, bringing us back within just a 2-kill game. But mind you, StelluR off the screen is able to take down Bound. As they retreat, can Optic hold the line?
Formal ready for this push, but he only had 2 shots in the red gun. It's not enough for the kill, but he goes sky high. Eco somehow survives, and StelluR gets the cutoff. Now the floodgates are open. SSG are rushing through. It's just Renegade last alive for Optic.
47-42 lead here. Space Station, can you close it out? Lucid able to go at a Renegade. Formal has to back down. Luckily, he has Bound with them, but can they stay alive? SnakeBite the first one to go down. It's a double and practically a triple with all the damage that they're able to create. It's a 4-kill game with just 1 more kill.
StelluR stuck between 4 players of Optic, and somehow StelluR got the kill. How did he just manage? They knew where he was, but he guarantees. It was unlikely for Optic in the first place, but StelluR, he certainly closed the door.
Insanely needed game here, win for Space Station Gaming. Is this the Space Station we have been waiting for?
Now let me tell you something. When you're going through it in the camp, and we don't know what's happening, we don't have flies on the wall, but we've heard the rumblings of something going on in the camp. And you win a game against a team that just won Arlington like this, I'm going to tell you right now, just take an IV and inject belief into this roster. That's what just happened here. It's going to be a different series now on the side of SSG and Optic Gaming. They look great. There were so many moments there I was very impressed with.
We saw some light from them in game 1, and then we saw them come through in game number 2. Tony, Active said there were moments that you wanted to talk about. I'm sure you have some too.
I mean, there was one moment where I think Down made an absolute play over towards that back line. There were 3 down. He got a clutch double. Want to give him a little bit of credit for kind of keeping them in the game.
The Space Station Gaming game number 3.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is your featured match. Again, I'm telling you, if you got Optic and SSG going at it in the lower bracket, you better keep your eyes on here. And that's an immediate 3 down for SSG. Bound and Optic now going to try to take over.
That Lqgend able to work. I mean, Legend's already 3 kills to his name, and he's working alongside Formal to push into A, and it's working perfectly right now. Formal, he can QT out, leave the kill for Lqgend as they work on A, and that's just perfect. 4 down, Space Station. They're going to find themselves in a brutal trip cap early in this game.
Optic simply pressuring SSG off of every single point on the map. A trip cap being held here, and Renegade just actually dropped a double kill. Huge snipes by him. Lqgend gonna probably pick that one up, and SSG are staggered.
There's only 2 kills. Spacestation has 2 kills to their name. Like, it's Optic game. This isn't just domination. This is murder. Like, we're witnessing life parole. Like, there's nothing to like about what's happened to Space Station these last few rotations. This is a dominant beginning for Optic.
We knew how good of a roster Optic are, how good of a game type. A favorite is Stronghold on live fire. Well, you were seeing them do work, but finally, Space Station Gaming scoring. Alpha and Charlie momentarily belong to them. Renegade needs the reinforcements of Lqgend to hold on to it. Meanwhile, Formal manning the green side.
Lqgend just can't lose. He can't lose a gunfight. He's 7-0 to start this game, and what you're going to notice, so much of their gameplay is going to be facilitated through Legend's play. Finally, Lucid takes him down, but if they don't find some sort of solution to Lqgend, this is not going to be pretty. If he's able to move with freedom around the map and enforce his will, he will always make the right rotation. He will keep his team on track.
Optic stopped short once again here. Momentary 3 down means that SSG are now scoring. Alpha and Bravo being held, but you've been talking about Lqgend. He gets the first pick onto Eco. Formal wants to take advantage of that, but SSG defenses are strong.
And keep an eye on Legend's stats. If there's a way for SSG to come back, it's going to be starting by slowing him down. His pacing has just been very uncomfortable for SSG to deal with, but Lucid going to be trying to work on this quick flank towards C, and oh my shots. Lucid just ripped Formal at C. They're going to win this rotation, and if they win the fight over at B, suddenly you're looking at a nice triple capture. Total control for Space Station.
Lqgend going to try to chase this player
Don't
down
do it to him.
here.
Oh.
Eco just able to get away here, but it's Space Station Gaming still holding on to both Alpha and Bravo. Charlie does change hands, but Renegade goes down.
1v2, right? He still is able to find both those players before he hits that respawn. Bound, though, feeling that trouble. And Lucid, man, Lucid has been in spots that have been frustrating Optic Gaming in these moments. Right when they think they have something to work with to stop this scoring, SSG pulls out a trap card.
Multiple lives that Lucid have had maximum impact on this game so far, and a reason why Space Station Gaming have just taken the lead and continue to grind forward right now. Formal trying to find an avenue out of the Alpha side here. Is it to StelluR on B?
Think about the control that Optic Gaming had at the beginning of this game, and the trip cap, they're down. I mean, SSG slowly but surely have made their way back into this game, and I mean, honestly, are controlling this beautifully. There's not really many openings for Optic to deal with. If Lucid could just control this tower side, make sure no one gets through to C without going through a sniper shot, I don't really see a viable path.
115 to 77 lead for Space Station Gaming, who actually have just gone 2 down though. I say that, but here comes Lucid, 2 taps bound, and now Optic are the ones who lose advantage.
And that's it, right? Like, they hit out towards B to isolate the sniper of Lucid, but because they overcommitted towards B, they just opened up that A spawn. It allows Space Station to maintain their control, and now they're just going to be one step ahead on the rotations. Double shots through. Lucid gets the kill on one, the assist on the next. Optic Gaming's 4 down, and Space Station continue this trend. They are playing at next level pace. They are playing perfect strongholds.
Optic were the ones who were looking dominant in the early game here, but SSG have been running it on one of their specialties. As I say that, they get wiped.
I think they all just want a piv. I think they just all went and won an individual fight. Sometimes you need a little juice from the superstars. They did just that. Eco looked a little scary for a second. He'll get the kill, and no one steps in to reset C, but it should just be a quick detour for him to get that eventually.
150 points have been attained here by Space Station Gaming. Meanwhile, Formal gets away with camouflage. SSG shut it down, and SSG will continue to score.
Bound knows that there's pressure coming in from that back C side, but just because you know, that doesn't mean you can't do much about it. How is Bound getting away with what he's getting away with? He is isolated in the front lines of Space Station. They just can't deal with him. Eco tries. Did he get the stick too? No, just missed it. But Bound, you can see the gravitational well that he provides on the map.
Although they were able to close the distance, Bound and the rest of Optic Gaming able to get the kills, but the response by Lucid and SSG lead to yet another 3 down.
And Bound lasts alive. He'll be able to find a trade, but it's just a trade. Space Station still have firm control of the map. And how is Renegade alive? The help comes in just in time. That'll give Optic Gaming a home and a full sniper to work with. Still a ton of work to do. They haven't scored since the start of this game.
Optic Gaming need a play, and it's gonna have to go through this sniper in the hands of Renegade, but it's stripped off of his lifeless body as Optic get wiped, and SSG are about to put in the trip cap.
And now with the QT, StelluR can put pressure on A. He has the freedom to get out, and he doesn't need to. Double kill, he just doesn't miss. Lucid has a sniper at the back tower. SSG has them locked in a Nelson hold. Optic Gaming's tapping out.
They ain't going anywhere. SSG are taking the lead in the series and are 1 game away from sending the returning champions home.
Wow is the one thing that needs to be said here. Wow, that is absolutely incredible. Space Station Gaming has taken a 2nd game off of an Optic Gaming.
Think about how it happened too. It was basically 250 unanswered points. Optic Gaming was so dominant at the start of that game. They could not lose a gunfight. They had the trip cap control. They had everything. SSG, they broke a trip cap and just slowly and surely took over the game. And then suddenly it was like a snowball rolling down the mountain. It turned into an avalanche.
Tools, I'm going to direct this question to Tony, though. Tools said that Lucid was playing at a different pace. What did you see here from Lucid in this game?
I mean, actually, now you're literally multiple different lives. He's getting away with stuff that he has no business doing. From a kill onto one to extra damage on the second, from a double kill to making another player half shields. I felt like almost every single one of his lives, they were able to extract so much value from that.
We'll be keeping you updated with the previous series, but right now, Space Station Gaming is just 1 game away from sending Optic home.
2-1 series lead. SSG 1 game away from sending the returning champions home. Optic Gaming need to win this game just to send us into a game 5, and they're doing it without a camouflage to start off this game.
Never doubt these two, Eco and StelluR. They have been grim reapers in these tournaments, and Eco just threw an absolute dot through the top window, gets the kill, and with that, Space Station has control of the hill, and they have the spawns completely constricted of Optic. They're gonna split on this map now towards C. Optic Gaming is just in disarray across the map.
Optic just coming off a spawn here, and where did Renegade just come from? Right behind the A side in the 5.
They never found him. He was there the entire time. He just played patient. He decided, hey, maybe they don't know I'm here. They didn't. Got the kill, and that opens up the opportunity for Optic to continue to score.
Switching gears over towards Formal, he's forced to retreat. Meanwhile, Bound, aggressive onto the gold side, but does he have the damage or the numbers? It looks like a 1v4, but he takes down one and sees a one-shot StelluR. He is forcing multiple members of SSG back almost single-handedly.
I think about the impact that kill that Renegade had earlier. They just got back in, immediately scored. Bound is now ripping SSG apart. Double kill for the Demon up high. What a play.
1-0 lead here for Optic Gaming, and somehow they're able to beat them on the rotation onto the blue side of the map. SSG have to force their way forward, and some good damage, forcing Renegade away from that hill. But can they follow it up? Because StelluR's the first one to go down, trading out their lives here. Not only are they losing hill time, but they might lose the camouflage as well.
Ego felt the need to have to push in. His teammates separated on the other side. Two players trying to crash into the same point, but Optic Gaming just did a fantastic job of never letting those two players across the map connect. With that, the kills become much easier. They get a camouflage, and I mean, Space Station can't even try to contest this second hill. They'll be down 2-0, and there's only been 30 seconds taken off the neutral timers.
Optic Gaming elected not to step out of the hill. They say they want to get this done as quick as possible. A 2-0 start, and Formal wants to get over towards that A side. He wants this A side spawn, and he is willing to fight for it.
Man, he loves to kite around that corner. He never quite went into A, but because he never committed in, they were looking for him that entire time. And see things get intense on both sides. Game 5 Slayer between Shopify and FaZe. Shopify is working their way back in.
That they are, but only a couple kills needed here from FaZe, and last shot ends up going down. That's the 49th kill. Can Suppress sneak away to 50th? Suppress goes down. 2-kill game, but no lives to give.
How are they doing this? They found the one shot. 48-49. Shopify Rebellion might just be on the cusp of the greatest comeback of all time.
They just need one more kill, does FaZe, though, so they have to play perfectly. And he runs into a couple grenades that'll send him home.
Lower bracket.
Lower bracket.
Oh, Bound! Oh, Bound! What are you doing to the Bound? Space Station! 3 down. Optic Gaming is running a house on Space Station. He's 14-4 in this crucial game.
We're going back and forward, and I'm out of breath right now. We just saw Shopify Rebellion get upset, and now we're watching Optic up 2-0 at the moment. But mind you, SSG, they have the hill. They have the A-side spawns they're looking for. Can they put their first hill on the board?
It is chaos in the venue. Players all strewn about. FaZe fans cheering in the front. Optic Gaming getting loud on the side stations. It is chaos at DreamHack Dallas.
2-0 lead still, and Renegade with the perfect shot onto his former teammate. Eco, a double kill of his own from across the map, continues to pepper up the enemy squad and stop them from pushing the whirlpool easily.
Halfway through this hill, Optic Gaming, if they can get this one, you feel like it's a dagger. SSG, how do you cut back down 3-0? It feels do or die, and SnakeBite trying his best to survive. How is he alive? SnakeBite somehow not able to get away with his life. Bound cleans it up, and that's number 16. He is ripping Space Station apart.
Not only is Bound putting down so much damage on the map, but he continues to score, and he closes out Optic's 3rd hill in a row.
Talk about revenge. This is a completely different Optic Gaming. Space Station, they have no idea what to do about Bound.
One more hill needed. Lucid with a huge kill onto Bound, and it gets followed up here. Eco, though, has to reload, and Formal makes him pay. Less than 3 minutes on the clock. Can SSG close it out?
StelluR, he knows that he needs support, tries to head back towards some sort of safety, but there is none. They're collapsing from all sides. Optic Gaming squeeze upon Space Station. There is no route for them to stay alive. Every player systematically taken down.
3 down goes Space Station Gaming, and Optic scoring once again. SSG cannot get slayed out here.
18-6 for Bound in this game. There has been no stopping him. He has completely had his way with Space Station. Every time he's got in a gunfight, you can see them running scared. Hey, talk about the confidence to take that against StelluR. Bound finally taken down, but they're nowhere close to that hill yet.
Both members of Optic end up going down here. That's a 3 down. In fact, SSG already trying to push out the blue side, but one player is annoying on the back line who even sneaks away a kill.
That's a big one though, right? Lqgend getting that kill, it prevents Space Station from stepping in, and it's just running that neutral clock off. That's always their secondary option. As long as you control the map, you can slowly take the time away for Space Station to even make this comeback.
But is it possible? Optic is still scoring, and Formal still doing Formal-like things. Finally, Space Station Gaming able to get Formal out of this hill, but for how long? Lucid trying to defend the back blue side of the map. Renegade is reinforcements, the first one to go down. Somebody has to catch up. But meanwhile, Bound, he's in his own fight here on the A side. He just took out StelluR, and that's 3 down for SSG.
Bound's working the map so well. He just found the flank needed. He gets number 21, and yeah, there's nothing SSG can do. We're going to game 5. Bound puts the exclamation point. A massive performance from the one-of-one.
21 kills.
Game number 5 in this Optic Gaming versus Space Station gaming series. One of these two will go home, and it's all on this Slayer Solitude.
Into game 5 we go. Optic Gaming and SSG. Who goes home?
Gonna start on board with Bound over on the low side here, but nobody from SSG able to account for him, so this is about to be a sneaky play. Although Lucid is able to take down Renegade, there's the backsmack from Bound, and immediately turns into a double. Start the game off with a triple. That's how you start off a game 5.
Bound will not be denied. He has turned up in the biggest possible way for his team, but at the end, it was just enough to keep it equal, and at that, SnakeBite still got away with the camouflage. The game still favors SSG early on.
Not oftentimes you can have a triple dropped on you and get away with camo, but SnakeBite and SSG sneak away with it, dodging grenades left and right, slowly starting to approach the spawn of Optic, and here it is, a one-shot, has no chance. Trying to stay alive, though, has teammates around him. This is huge for Space Station Gaming.
That was massive from SnakeBite. It's so mindful of the risk that's to his right. He curbsides past that angle and basically isolates that player away from the gunfight. Allows him to get the kills onto Optic, and well, it was able to at least make it even for now, but Renegade might just rip things apart for SSG. 2 players that need to deal with him, and just before he can get started, SSG find an important kill.
10-8 lead here for Space Station Gaming, but Lqgend refuses to go down, and Bound trying to put some extra damage on top.
Lqgend trying to take down his sensei. He just gave him a special lesson in what it feels like to be reversal, and I would not want to be on the other end of Lqgend's bandit at the moment.
12-11 lead. SSG still hold on, but just by 1 kill. SnakeBite gonna find his way right over towards the mid-map, but does he know that Optic are right around the corner and they're sniffing him out?
Formal's gonna get that info, but too many players from SSG to deal with. He goes down, and Bound will be the only one alive. Another camouflage that heads the way of Space Station, and Optic Gaming suddenly find themselves trapped at Nest. There's just nowhere to go. Every position is being looked at. They're scrambling to stay alive, but Lucid just calm with the camo, waiting for his opportunity to pick them apart.
Lucid so patient, identifies the spawners, and here comes the trap. Can they put them down once again? 17-14, and here comes the collapse. One goes down, turn it to two. That's a killing spree coming out of the former MVP.
Textbook collapse for Space Station. They knew they were all at Nest. They sent players through all 3 lanes, trapped them, and now Lucid's ripping them off spawn. BR supremacy as he's able to take 4 perfect shots. Optic Gaming struggling just to be alive.
From one spawn trap to another, this is textbook Solitude Slayer being played by Space Station. 23-15, Lucid with the snipe.
And now he's just denying the opportunity for Optic to get back in the game. How do you start to make the comeback? You need power weapons. Lucid just laid half the ammo into a wall.
Eco with a huge kill here. Lucid continues to burn away this ammo while holding on to a lead. Lucid now gonna try to make his way over toward the top dip side. Takes down the one shot. He has no idea he's here. 3 down once again. Go Optic Gaming.
Lucid finding everything for his team against his former teammates. He has completely taken over. Watch out, Tommy Wilson looks to be sending the green wall home.
10-3, 6 assists, but about to put his 11th if he plays his cards right, but Lqgend might be the hardest kill in the lobby.
And this might be the opportunity Optic's been waiting for. Lqgend getting that important kill solidifies their control of the inside of the map. Now they have the ability to go for that camouflage once they get Space Station 3 down, completely changing the syntax of this game. Space Station suddenly find themselves being trapped, and Optic Gaming finally find their foot forward, loading up this right hook that's coming through the spawn trap.
Trapped over toward the back tram side, and Formal and Lqgend back-to-back kills, make it back-to-back-to-back. Renegade has camo. He doesn't have to get involved in it. His teammates are stepping up.
This all came from one kill. Lqgend completely changed this game, and now Renegade can solidify a lead for Optic Gaming. Eco stands no chance. SSG are trapped at the end of Nest. How do they break their way out?
30-27 here. SSG somehow still holding on to a lead. We switch on board with StelluR, hunting Formal down, dodging the grenades, but can he find the weakened player? Eco has his back, and StelluR somehow survives.
4-kill differential. SSG no longer feeling confident or comfortable with their lead. They need to find that spark once again. It was Lucid that provided it in the early game. Can he come to bat and hit another one home? Renegade laying a trap, waiting for someone to peek just a little bit too far.
Throwing every single nade in his arsenal,
what an
and it's gonna be the insta-explode that starts it, drops down for the double 3 down. Once again, go SSG.
Oh my, the demonic duo, the delinquents have come to play. Renegade and Bound have started to unleash upon SSG. One of the nerdiest insta-explodes you'll see in SSG. Self-inflicted wounds in the mid-game.
Oh, that team grenade cost them timing here, because with that timing, Bound looks to sneak right behind them. The flank is gonna work. Renegade and Bound working together, and there's one more player that just escaped the reticle of Formal.
34 all in SSG. This is completely different than what we've seen before. Now desperately needing that shock rifle. It's Lucid that's trying to get the hurt, but they all just go down. Eco and Lucid will have to try to bat away, trying to kite all the way to blue, but how can you survive? They're just trapped. They all occupy an 8x10 room.
Camouflage in the hands of Lqgend and finally getting activated here. The shock is for Lucid, but somehow Lqgend avoids it. Formal with the double, Formal with the triple. SSG had the shock, had control. They have nothing now.
From down double digits to now controlling their destiny. Formal and the rest of Optic Gaming has sprung to life, and SSG find themselves on life support, praying for something to change. How can you fight an Optic Gaming that's playing this fast, this confident?
2 squad wipes away from ultimately taking this game and knocking SSG out. Renegade wants to work with Lqgend here, knows exactly where SSG are, but can they create some type of pinch? A 2-pronged attack is what they're looking for.
It's important for Optic not to give free deaths. You cannot let SSG know that they can move on and
defeat.
They crash.
They're starting off fresh. If SSG win that first round of slays, they get camouflage, they tie up the game, and then spin things around. It's only 4 kills the difference. This could favor SSG.
It's just the early game that matters the most in these situations. Who can get the opening kills, get away with the power weapons and power-ups? StelluR just completely fies, but Renegade wins on the other side. Lqgend versus Eco. They trade on out, but every trade favors Optic. It's the camo that is the only reprieve that could come, but Renegade just put perfect shots in Shock Rifle, making its impact known.
Back to a 4-kill game here, and just 5 more needed for Renegade and Optic, and you see him stalking his prey, the spawn of SSG.
All 3 of them gonna go wide into this stairwell. Lqgend gonna get that information, and Renegade now knows that there's at least some freedom to work on a flank, and Eco had no idea. That's the benefit of knowing that 3 players are all on top of each other. You get free flanks.
Now just 3 more kills, make it 2 after the trade. It's 6 kills between them. Can SSG simply stay alive? Killing spree being earned. 1 more, and you allow Renegade to get away with not only the shot, but the camo as well.
Renegade left his imprint in this game, 5-0, and you have to imagine number 6 comes from him. Perfect shots with the Shock Rifle. Dominant, and it's dual dodge action. Game 5's everywhere.